Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. Live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning, coming to you live from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida. Right there in Celebration Point, in the heart of Gator Nation, that's International Diamond Center Studios. Also, Comfort Temp Heating and Air. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. We appreciate them being a big sponsor on the program. Today's program, we'll have Buddy Martin from the Buddy Martin Show. We'll have Frank Frangie, the voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll talk a little Gators, but mostly Jags with him. They're 3-1, could easily be 4-0. But we'll get his thoughts. Let's go to the Titan and More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Well, before we go to Buddy, if you missed it last night, the Broncos won, the Dolphins won. Tyreek Hill, the wide receiver for the Dolphins, one of the most gruesome injuries I've ever seen. Dislocated his knee and tore ACL, MCL, multiple things. So it was hard to watch. Buddy Martin, you're on the Titan and More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. What's happening?
Good morning, Shane. It's supposed to have been a fantastic week for Gator fans. It's not that fantastic, but it is the week, and it is the week that Texas comes down for the first time since 1940. We all expected this to be a dynamic game, one that could have implications. It does, but for Texas and not Florida. And now I guess it's beyond Billy coaching for his job. I'm not really wanting to go there this morning. I think we've got fatigue. You expressed it last night on the show when you said you're so tired of talking about
I'm over it.
Billy calling plays, what's going to happen. But it's who we are. It's what we are. It's what we do. And we just can't ignore it. But I'm going to put on my best face and go up there and go to the game and watch it and try to have a little optimism. It's hard in a time like this. But I will say one thing. Our buddy Fran Spurrier last night, I think he said it well. Be careful what you wish for, because if they do win, now we got another 2 or 3 years or whatever with Billy. I don't think that's what we want right now, but that's not my decision to make or yours, Shane.
Well, buddy, they'd have to win every game for that to happen.
Could be, but you can't win every game until you win the next game, and that changes temperaments. And right now, there's a lot of Gator fans who are angry. And here's what you don't want to happen. You don't want apathy to set in. And we're about getting there right now. And Shane, you say you're tired of talking about it, all right? I said on my column the other day, I wrote that I'm tired of talking people off the ledge. I'd like to see positive things. I had great hopes. I think the biggest thing we talk about this year, this is just not the loss. This is kind of a crash and burn. And many of us are not wanting to go back. It takes energy, Shane. It takes energy. And you're talking about that, to go back through a rebuild and go through all that, whatever. This is not just a year. This was supposed to be the year of the turnaround. We got our hopes up high. I drank some of the Kool-Aid. Others on our show drank it. I don't know if you drank it, but you certainly had the cup to your lips and thought about it. We thought it was going to be a lot better, and it's not.
No, it's not. It's look, it's I mean, like I said, I'm done talking about play calling, all that, because my honest to God truth is it is what it is. We still have to execute. I think it goes both ways, but there's nobody on this staff that can call plays, buddy. Nobody's ever called plays. I mean, Russ Callaway was at Sanford, but he didn't call the plays. Chris Hatcher, the head coach, called the plays. So nobody's ever called plays. So we can, like I said, it doesn't matter. Nothing is changing. Even if Billy would have hired an offensive coordinator, there's no guarantee we wouldn't still be sitting in this situation. Okay. So, like I said, I'm not talking about it anymore because it does not matter. You just said a rebuild. If there is a coaching change and you make the right hire, you can be relevant immediately.
Yeah, Nick Saban, but that's not
true. No.
I know what you say. Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
No, there's people out there that can make you relevant immediately, and it doesn't matter if you lose people in the portal. they will have players that want to play for them. Simple. It is simple.
Yeah, I mean it's simple, but it's painful. It's like a wound, but they're like a wounded animal. Let's hope it's a lion and not like a hummingbird or something. Right now, they're just so broken. There's a lot of good kids on that squad and some good coaches who deserve better, but they got themselves in this dilemma through who knew this was going to happen to DJ, who knew it was going to happen, when it happened and how they fell apart. They gave a game quarter against Miami for a while. We saw there was a defense. There's a pulse. There's hope. Gator fans have to hold on to something, and their hope is that the cavalry's on its way. The defense is better, and miracles are a problem. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, but as our friend Frank Frangie said last night, and he wrote it again today, be careful what you wish for. Something needs to change like yesterday. But even now, it's too late, as you point out. Billy's beyond coaching for his job. His job is pretty much gone. Here's what Franz wrote this morning on Gatorade, if I may read it to you. A year ago, even though he had the endorsement of athletic director Scott Strickland, Billy Napier had one foot out the door of the Heavener Center when the Gators did the unthinkable and beat LSU 27-16. From that spark, a small but very effective forest fire began to burn, the end result of a four-game winning streak, an 8-5 record, and a good case of warm and fuzzies about Billy Napier. Well, there you go. That's what happened. It did happen, so people say, well, it's possible again, but you're pretty much saying, no, it's not. But here's the deal.
I'm
We're
telling
up.
you, if you go back and you watch Ole Miss and LSU from last year, we're fortunate to win those
Well,
games.
that's true of a lot of games, Shane.
It's very true, but those are the two that kind of did us in.
Well, that's true, but you had a few games as a player. You were a quarterback. You had some games you were fortunate to win. In football, when you win games, you have to be fortunate. That's just part of the deal. But the point is that we're ready for something to pop now, right? Well, DJ says they asked you specifically in the press conference about it yesterday, and he says it feels like something's beginning to pop. I've had my first good old good of the year of the year. I'm feeling better. I'm optimistic. He looked and sounded like a guy who was optimistic. What does that mean? They get Dallas Wilson back. I don't know, some good things, but all you can do is go to the ball yard and hope that something happens. But as Franz points out, and you said you amen to, that means if you win, you might end up getting Billy again next year. And here we go again, same old song, same old story.
Yeah, I mean, I need to see him do something in a game. I could care less about practice, personally. Um, Brandon on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, assuming we have a coaching change for next year, will the AD, UAA, or big boosters have more of a say on who is the next coach? Some are saying Strickland isn't too fond of our top choice on this show. From what I've heard, that is true. I have nobody's actually, well, people have told me that. But again, the person everybody wants needs to be offered the job before
I hear
anything
you.
happens.
I hear you.
And none of that's going to happen towards the end of the year. Well, I mean, they can negotiate with agents, all that, but you have to make a call and say, we would love for your guy to be our coach. That is yet to happen.
Well, Shane, there's Jimmy Sexton's burning the phone lines up to a lot of people. There's four coaches fired already. Things are already happening. You have to think now about what's going. You have to anticipate. Every AD has a list in his pocket. Everybody does. It's part of the job. What does that mean? I don't know, but I think when we're talking about something like this, we have to say, what do we know? Shane, what do you know?
I've said it. I've been saying it for 2 years on this show. What I know,
Okay, we'll say it again. What do you know?
I know that I do know this, that if Lane were offered the job, he would have a tough decision to make
Okay.
because at least he would have to make the decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do I
That's
want
what
to
you want. You
leave
want them to,
Oxford, a great
yeah,
town to live in,
yeah, you know
no
that.
pressure, making a lot of money? I got a damn good football team. I built a good program, and they got a really good fan base, and that school has money, believe it or not. Or do I want to go to the bigger brand where I have probably a better chance to bring in, um, maybe more star type players.
Yeah, be
Well, he
Brian
doesn't need
Kelly.
them.
Be
He don't
Brian
need them.
Kelly.
He does
Look at
not need the 5 stars.
he
Uh,
doesn't have any now.
because the way like I told you, his receiving core is totally different than our receiving core. Totally different. They're quick twitched. They can move, man. Um, so anyway, I just know that if here's what I will say. If my football program was in trouble and been in trouble for a long time, not winning games, my eyes would tell me that I'm going to go after the guy that has shown that he can do it and puts a great product on the field. That's what I would do. I mean, don't you go after the best coach out there?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
hearing you. I'm with you on that. And what I meant by that was that wasn't what I was talking about. Is what do you know about what is being done or
Oh, I
anything
don't.
that
I
you
mean,
hear?
I know the money guys won't lane. I do know that.
Yeah, okay.
I'll leave it at that.
Okay, because I know the money guys I talk to, and I talk to one who knows them all, and you know him too. It's like we got the money, we got the money right
They got
here,
plenty of money. That
and
ain't
we
that.
got we got money for the NIL deal, we got money for the salary, we got money for the staff, we got money. But throwing money at it apparently is not the answer. We'll see. Only thing I know is there are things underway, and Billy's got a coach like there isn't. That's just how it is in this job.
Skip on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, "Buddy, is there a scenario where Billy remains the coach next year?"
Yeah, won the rest of the games.
Yeah. Jerry on Facebook Live says, "Shane, what do you think of the Oregon QB? What's his name? Dante something. He's a transfer. He initially went to Oregon, transferred there. He's a good player. He's a good fit for their system." Um, Reggie says here on Facebook Live, Strickland doesn't want Kiffin. Apparently, that's what everybody says.
That's
Yeah.
what said. I don't know that. That's what I hear. Like you, that last year that they got to that point, and they all said we want him, and Strickland said no. Now Strickland's only got what 2 years, right? And now signing his new contract. There are a lot of people not happy with him right now, and wonder what he's smoking. But anyway, hey, look, here's the deal. There's a game on Saturday at 3:30 kickoff ESPN. It's going to be a really good day, filled out crowd. Texas comes to town first time. Florida's only a 6.5 point underdog, which surprises me. I'm not sure exactly why. I don't know if I'd take the 6.5, but you got the guy who was supposed to be the greatest quarterback on the planet coming to town. And I heard a Texas writer say they're thinking he might be the greatest quarterback of all time. Well, guess what? That ain't happening. But you got a guy who's on the rebound, who's a really good quarterback. It's going to be a watchable game. You said we had great games last weekend. We did. We don't have that many great games this weekend. Florida, Texas is the show. Game day is going to be here, Shane. It's a big deal. So this is it. If they do pull it off, and I'm not ruling it out because I've seen this kind of Florida team before. I'm not predicting a win. I'm hoping for a good effort, and they've covered their spread. I'm not betting on the game, but other people are. There's always some hope. It's not much, but think what it would do to the program right now. Never mind long term if they pull that one off over Texas, who's only lost one game, who obviously got their own problems. It would be a crazy things are happening this year. Look at Mississippi State.
Mississippi State's a pretty good team, buddy.
I know. I said, look, crazy things are happening. It
Yeah.
looked really good to me. I'll watch that game. They don't miss tackles. They gang tackle. They're around the ball. Their offense is better than we thought. And Levy's the coach of the year right now.
Yeah, he's done a tremendous job. By the way, he coached on Lane's staff, if people didn't know that.
I didn't realize that.
Yes, he used to be their OC.
Okay.
Well, he had the title of OC, I should say.
Yes, that was Rob Sale.
Yeah. A lot of things to choose from here. In the meantime, I'll read this text on the Titan Tomorrow text line from Josh and Wamama. Says, with Dallas Wilson back, you think we can finally see Dallas, Vernell Brown the third, Trey Wilson, and Amir Jackson on the field with ball? I think that gives us the best line to give us explosive plays and pass catchers. I don't think you'll see those 4 guys on the field at the same time, no.
Never have and never will, as long as Billy's there.
Well, that's 11 personnel, but that's a different group of 11.
That's what I mean.
Look, nobody in America plays 10 personnel. Nobody. So people need to get that out of their head. There's not one team in America that does that.
Things are in a cycle. They come and they go.
Yeah.
And you know the first time four wides ever went on the field in college football, don't you?
No idea.
Florida versus Georgia. And it was a guy named Mike Shanahan, Charlie Pell's offensive coordinator, that put four wides on the field for the first time.
Um, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
He told me that.
This text says you were worried about the Gator defense. Would you agree now that they have been better than good, considering the fact that they are missing three good players? Yeah, they played great. I still don't think they're very good. I don't think people have challenged them on the back end because we can't get to the quarterback. If you can't get to the quarterback, the other team should be throwing the football.
Well, you had all your edge rushers out, Shane. You can't get the quarterback without your edge rushers. And,
Well,
you
no,
know,
no, no. We've had our edge rushers
no,
except
I
for
mean now. Look at
right.
Carmani. You got to give Carmani a lot of credit now.
Look, they played great, but I'll be more on board this week. As bad as Texas's offense is, I
Yeah.
want to start scheme up stuff.
But wait, you said he's got a bad offense. You told me he was a genius.
He is a genius.
Well,
I'll take him
genius
any day of the week.
miss. You can have him.
He is awesome.
Hmm.
This says early on you talked about Nussmeier as a great quarterback. Do you now feel he's based on his performance this year that he's an average SEC quarterback? No, I think he's outstanding. He is absolutely his leg. I don't one of his
He's
knees.
hurt.
Yeah, you can tell. You watch his tape from last year and watch it this year. He's totally different. I bet he has surgery after the year, but I think he's a really good player. He ain't playing good this year though.
No, he's not.
Chad wants to know, are Mississippi State fans allowed to have their cowbells at away games? That's a good question.
I'm pretty sure they're
They
not.
are.
I think it's just at home.
Yeah, I think it's a home thing.
Someone can research that. You got a crack staff here. Somebody get on
Pretty
that.
sure they can only do it at home.
I'm too.
Rose Ogre State Farm also is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We got Buddy Martin here. We'll talk little Jags with Frank Frangie, the voice of the Jaguars, who are 3-1. We got a lot of people here chiming in. Would you rather have Lane Kiffin or Lincoln Riley? They say Lincoln Riley's resume is a little bit better. I still would rather go with Lane because
I'm not a Lincoln Riley fan. I'm sorry.
I like Lincoln too, but I'd rather
I'm
go with
not.
Lane because he's dealt with
Not.
the SEC.
Yeah. The guy you got is right there. They're going to go to him. It's going to go like this. There will be the well-wishers who want Urban, who's not going to come, but they're going to make a pass that make you say no. Meanwhile, they're going to go after Lane. You think he might take it. I don't think he will. I think he's a guy who's very happy where he is for the reasons we talked about. And then you say, who else is out there? Right now, it looks like Eli Drinkwitz is the best guy. Under that scenario, the guy coaching Missouri will be coaching the Gators next year. But I don't know. We're all guessing here.
Yeah. Um, yep. It's unfortunate that Lane coaches at Ole Miss. I wish it was somewhere else because it's hard to leave that place. Very difficult. So, Twan says you have Aiden Mizell, you have Dallas Swift, you have Vernell Brown, you have Eugene Wilson. Those are the best receivers. I think Vernell's the best receiver out of that crew. It'd be interesting. Just we're talking because it's a talk show. How many of those guys would start at Ole Miss? At wide receiver?
Just the ones Lane like. That's all.
No, I'm just saying
I know.
he recruits a different type of receiver than a lot of people.
Well, explain.
His receivers are fast twitch, man. They are so damn quick. They get open. He doesn't really have, I don't think he has any big receivers on his roster, except for the big tight end. Kevin says the Mississippi State better not bring those cowbells. I don't think they're allowed to in the opposing teams.
I'm relatively certain they're not.
Reggie makes a good point here because it's a fact. It's never really happened. He says this administration is not going to get a splash higher. How is that hard to understand? Our history proves it.
Well, it's not necessarily true. We had a pretty good splash iron Urban Meyer, although at the time he was not established in D1 as a national champion. Spurrier was the back door. People don't realize that. There were people in the building who did not want Steve to be the coach,
including the athletic director.
including the athletic director. I know that for sure because I talked to him. I was living there at the time. He kept saying, I'm going to find some young assistant coach. Well, guess what? He didn't. And he got it run down his throat in the course of his job. So the splash, what is the splash? I mean, splash hire wasn't in a way, wasn't much champ a splash hire. He was a
No.
guy, everybody, well, what I mean is he was the most desirable guy in America. He was Mac Brown's coach in waiting. Everybody wanted to hire him, and Florida got it in that way. He was a splash hire. But now you're talking about a big money guy. They go hire Lane. They go hire, uh, 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 you know, whoever who's a hot coach right now, whoever it is. I don't know, but I know one thing: they got their guy. They better go get him. Get everybody to sign because you don't want apathy to set in the program. You want people to be angry, pissed off, all that. That's fine, but you don't want people to stop caring. And Shane, I'm hearing in you in a way you don't care about certain things
No,
anymore.
I
I
don't care
know.
about talking about the stuff
Okay.
that we have no control over. It's a
All
waste
right.
of
Well,
time.
let me finish. That's not my point. I'm not blaming you. I have the same feeling. I don't know if I have the energy right now to put all the effort. Remember, this is not just a ball season. This is not just a game, whatever. This is where a society and a culture where people build their whole life around their football team. All the fall weddings and all the trips and all the vacations and all the emotional and financial investment in a program is involved here. So you're going to have some emotional people, and I'm glad they got it. But you are a little weary, and I'm a little weary. We're all a little weary. Let's
Well,
be honest.
here's why I'm a little weary. And if there is a coaching change, here's my only issue, buddy. And I don't care what happens. I do believe that this is the most, if there is a coaching change, this is the most important hire in Florida football history since Steve Spurrier. Because if you don't hire the right person, we may never win again at win on a, I mean, be relevant in my lifetime. I firmly believe that. And the only thing is, if the best coach out there for our job is not offered the job, I have a tremendous problem with that. Now, not saying he's going to take it, but if he's not even just offered it, there's a problem. Do you think I'm crazy for saying that?
No, I think I see where you're coming from. And Shane, a lot of people depend on you and your thinking, and you are the keeper of the Flames since 1990.
Well,
Look, I can go back and tell you that 1960, Ray Graves was the most important hire in the history of the
well,
program.
I'm going in my lifetime,
I
right?
know that's what I said. This is your lifetime, and yes, I expect you to say that. And you just know how bad things were in 1960 when the offense was a whole lot worse than it is now, a lot worse. And he wasn't going to change either. We've had a couple of those guys who went down, who fell on their sword. Billy's falling on his sword. He explained again yesterday. I know you don't want to talk about it, but Gator fans do. And the fact is, he gave an answer when he asked why he thinks he's qualified to be the coach to call the plays. And he basically said, because I've always been doing it. That's kind of what he said. And that's not good enough. So it's something to point to. Gator fans are angry and you're smiling about something. What?
This text on the Titan More text line, this guy says Lane can bring more than coaching. Have Freddie open a restaurant next to Spurs and call it Kiffin's.
I like it.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's all I'm asking is at least call and offer the job to
I'm
the
hearing
best
you. I'm
candidate.
with you. I'm with you on that.
That's all I'm asking. Again, none of this. We're in week 4, buddy. We still have 8 weeks to go.
Yeah, I know. It's a
Actually
long
9,
eight
because
weeks.
I think we have another bye
9
week.
weeks, actually.
So nothing is going to happen. And here's the thing too. I think we need to offer it to multiple people, I guess.
I
But
think
I
you're
don't
right.
care.
Now you're on to something. Now you're
No,
talking
no.
like I'm
I,
talking.
I don't give a damn if the coach that we want is playing for the national title.
Okay.
I don't care how long it takes. I don't care about the
But
recruiting.
you do
I
have to
don't
have
care.
multiple offers. What ifs? You got to
Well,
have them
yeah,
out
but
there.
there's one and one that stands above all.
And he's one of them. He's
Yes,
one of
but
them.
you got to offer it.
But you
Uh,
also got to have a backup plan if you don't get him.
right. But all these people that are worried about getting the coach in here, losing the roster and poor, you can't give a damn about that because if you hire the right person,
Yeah.
either the people that are on this roster will want to play for him. Maybe they don't. Maybe that coach doesn't want some of these players, right? Coaches have different thought processes. They will get the players they need, but it's got to be a slam dunk. That's just my two
Well, I
cents.
think we're on the same page, and I think we're going to see what the color of the money comes out and what happens, and if they're serious. And I don't know if people trust. Going back to the question you had earlier in the program, do people really trust Scott Strickland to make this hire? And I would say right now, maybe not. It's going to be made by the people who have the money, the people who are in the power. They're going to make the president, whoever he might be, if he's there, will certainly have a big say in it. So there's a lot hinging on this. There's a lot of factors that go into it. And I
Yeah,
think what we said is true. If Urban Meyer's your guy, whoever it is, I mean, if it's Nick Saban's your guy, whoever, go make him say no. And meanwhile, go out and start negotiating with Lane, which who's his agent, by the way? It's not Jimmy Sexton, right?
yeah,
It is
pretty
Lane.
sure.
I don't think it is for some reason. Anyway, the point is that so you start making an offer to him, and you say, "Well, if I don't get him, what's the next best?" And who would you say? Right now I'm going to say Drinkwitz till somebody better comes along.
And here's another thing too that I think Ole Miss does a phenomenal job with, buddy. That I think it's important too. Their athletic director is a former basketball player at Ole
Right?
Miss, Keith Miller.
And
Keith, what's his damn name? Keith something. The head of their NIL collective that runs the whole thing, former player, Walker Jones. He used to work for Jimmy Sexton. He used to work for Under Armour. So what I like about it is their structure is all in the family and former players.
I like that. I like that.
I think it's critical. I think that's
Yeah.
what you can hang your hat on a lot of success
Yeah.
for them because they kind of all think alike, being former athletes
Yeah.
and know what's best for their program. So
Okay, speaking of former basketball, but you see Al Horford signed again?
yeah, good for
Wow.
him.
He's old man River, isn't he? That's amazing.
Yeah. Chris from Cottondale on the Titanamar text line says, I agree with your thoughts, Shane. This is the most important hire since SOS, and the best candidate is Lane Kiffin, and we need to offer him. Also, we don't need to worry excessively about what we can't control. Yeah. Again, like I said, if the job is offered to Lane, he's got a tough decision to make
Yeah.
because where he lives, that town is a cool town to live in, and he has zero pressure at that job. But all I'm asking for is to please at least make him say no. That's all you can ask for.
I think you will make him say no. He's got to.
I hope.
Yeah.
Trey says Rand Carthon for AD. I don't know where Rand is now. He was
GM for Nashville, right?
right. I think he got fired there. I
He
don't know
did.
what
He
he's
did
doing
get
now.
fired. I don't think he's employed. I'll ask Ben Troop. He knows him pretty well.
Yeah, he may be a good one to run the damn NIL because I I I I got a couple of guys in mind that need to get involved with NIL that are really
Really? Who
good
like
former
who?
player
Who? 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 Give me a
businessmen.
name. Give me a name. Give me a name.
Mike Pearson would be
I love
outstanding.
Mike Pearson. I remember when he signed with Florida. I was covering the team pretty closely then.
He's
Yeah.
he's
Is
he's
he good at personnel? He's that good?
well, you don't have to be good at personnel
No,
for
but what is he good at?
NIL. He's a businessman though.
Okay. All right.
He's
Well,
bought and sold multiple businesses, very successful, loves the Gators. I get a text from him every freaking day about a new coach.
really?
Yeah.
Did you had him on the show, didn't
hmm
you? Didn't
hmm
you? Hmm.
hmm
I'd like to get him on my show.
Don says on Facebook Live, in some way, shape, or form, we need to have the HBC involved in our future offense. No, coach is done coaching.
Shane, that reminds me in the remaining 30 seconds, you have access to him like nobody else does. You talk about a lot of things, some of them off the record. You have conversations, you do a show with him. What is he thinking right now? This is just you saying what you think he's thinking right now.
What's that again?
You talk with Coach Spurrier on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
He's your former coach, but he's also your partner on one of the shows you do. He's on your show a lot. You talk to him in an informal setting. What do you think he's thinking right now about the program? I know he has said something's got to change.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you think he's a Kiffin guy?
I think Coach would love to have Kiffin. I think he sees a lot of him in him. I mean, he's the modern day Steve Spurrier, whether people want to like that or not. Could you imagine if Twitter was around when Coach was
Oh
coaching?
my gosh.
I do know this. Coach would have benched DJ.
That's a good point. And
He would have benched him.
You're correct. He would
South
have.
Florida game, and definitely the LSU game, and probably the Miami game.
Hey, listen, I mean, it would only take a quarter or a couple of picks and you're out of there.
I mean, think about it. He benched the damn Heisman Trophy winner
I
multiple
know.
times.
I was there when he did
He
it.
benched the National Player of the Year, whatever Rex won, multiple times in his career.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got to
Like,
get to Frank Frangie.
all
I
right.
forgot.
He's
I
on my
appreciate it,
show
buddy.
tomorrow night. Tell him to get ready for a good program tomorrow
All right,
night.
that's Buddy Martin. Join us on the Titan
All
More Hotline. Let's take a quick timeout. We'll be back with Frank Frangie.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG&A Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
The most important thing I learned from my father was work ethic and integrity. Never veer away from integrity, even if it costs you money.
International Diamond Center owner Keith LeClaire.
The core value for IDC is to protect the customer.
That means offering the largest selection, uncompromising quality, the strongest warranties, and honest guidance from experts who are not paid on commission. International Diamond Center at Celebration Point. Online, shopidc.com.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless, mimosas, and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. The Pouncey twins provide all of Gator Nation with the highest quality liqueurs made by J.F. Hayden Craft Liqueurs. Find your favorite flavors at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Back to the Titan More Highline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by the voice of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also, you can listen to his show, the Frank Frangie Show, over in Jacks. My man, Frank Frangie, good morning. What's happening?
Good morning, Shane. How are you? Good to be here. All is well, man. On a fun little week. We had a good win. Things are good over here right now.
Yeah, Jags are 3-1. Could easily be 4-0 with a loss there. I guess at Cincinnati. Just talk about Liam Cohen, how he's kind of changed the culture, so to speak.
That's pretty much the thing. Hey, look, he's a good play caller. You can tell that. He's a good offensive coach. But he's got a little edge to him, Shane. I think there's a little bit of the ball coach in there, you know, you and I can connect with that or relate to that. You played for him. There's some edge in there with him, and I think that's made its way to the players. I think there's a toughness. You know, it's been a long time. The Jaguars, listen, here's the reality of all. This is my 12th year doing the games, and I've covered the team the whole 31 years they've been here. A lot of times a game we'll get excited about the game weekend, but we'll be sitting there thinking, you know, it's not going to go very well, right? We're not very good. I don't think this team feels that way. I think they feel like they can win any game. They went to San Francisco. They had never won at San Francisco. They were 4-11 in California, 0-2 in San Francisco, and really outplayed them the whole game. The game wound up being closer than it should have been. So I think he's given them an edge, Shane, and I think that's the difference in kind of who they are right now.
Yeah, defensively, I think I want to say I think I saw a clip where the Jags they've gotten 3 turnovers in every game this year. Is that true?
They've gotten 13 for the season. So yeah, I guess that would be 3 in every game. Think about this, Shane. They had 9 all of last year.
Wow.
All of last year they had 9 takeaways. They passed that in the 3rd game this year. They lead the league in takeaways. They lead the league in turnover margin. They've been pretty good. They've been pretty good defensively. And I think that this Anthony Campanile, the new coordinator, that's a big thing for him. They play a lot of zone. So the guys have their eyes on the ball, on the quarterback, right? They haven't done that in the past. They've played man and they turn around, they turn and run. They play a lot of zone. They've got their eye on the quarterback. They're punching balls out. They practice punching balls out. They practice stripping balls. And you can see it. So they've been a really good takeaway team.
Andy on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel All, says, Frank, loved your call on Sunday. Do you think Travis Etienne can stay healthy all season and be the league's leading rusher?
Hey, maybe. He certainly, what helps him is Bashaw Tootin, the rookie, who's really good, is going to spell him some. I think you're going to see that balance a little bit different. Right now, Travis is probably getting 70%, 75% of the carries. I think that's going to be more 60-40. Travis is a good back, man. I'll give him credit. His back is against the wall, boy. Everybody thought Tank Bigsby was going to beat him out. Everybody thought Tootin was going to beat him out. He came to camp in great shape, best shape of his life. He had a great camp. He had a great preseason. And Liam Cohen wants to run the ball, man. So, yeah, they're going to, yes, I think he can. We'll see. It's a long season. We're only 4 games in. But, yes, Travis is playing at a great level, and they're blocking. I can tell you that.
MSRK on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, when is the Liam Cohen and Salah cage match? For people that don't know, I think they got into a verbal exchange after the game. What was that all about?
So Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, said during the week at a press conference, the Jags are really good. They've got an elaborate sign stealing operation. He said it's legal. They're not cheating, but they've got a good way of figuring out what we're doing. And so we have to be careful because they'll know what we're calling on defense because they're good at stealing the signs. Well, I think he meant it as a compliment. But when you say stealing, in the age of when the Michigan stuff, Shane, went on, and Jose Altuve and the Astro stuff went on, it implied that you're cheating. Well, Liam took umbrage with that. He didn't like it, and so the Jags won the game. After the game, Liam didn't, and they asked Liam about it. They asked Kyle Shanahan about it. It was a big talker during the week. And then after the game, Liam didn't really want to engage with him. Saleh tried to talk to him 2 or 3 times. Liam finally turned around and said, don't be bad-mouthing me. And then Saleh went back at him, and they yelled at each other for a little bit, and they cleared the field. So
here's what's interesting to me. Listen, I played a long time. Everybody tries to steal signals. That's just part of the game. But in today's world, how in the hell can you steal signals when you're talking to the Mike linebacker and he's relaying the stuff to the players on defense?
And I think that was the Jag side of it, is there's no signals to be stole because at least when it comes in from the sideline, it's in a headset. Now, maybe the middle linebacker gives hand signals or whatever to other players, and maybe that's what they're talking about. But the main play comes in from the sideline and goes in through the radio helmet. Shane, if Saleh had said, look, what he should have said, Robert got it wrong. We know Robert was here 3 years. I know Robert. Robert got it wrong. What Robert should have said was, hey, the Jags are very good at understanding what we're trying to do defensively, so we need to be more guarded. We need to make sure we protect what we're going to do. That we have to disguise it better because the Jags are very good at figuring out what you're doing defensively. If he'd have said it that way, it would have come off like the compliment that he was really intending to give, and everything would have been fine. Instead, it came off a little clunky. It came off as an accusation, and the Jaguars took issue with it. That's all he had to say was, hey, they're very good at knowing what we're doing, knowing what the other team's doing defensively. That's what he should have said.
Asa on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, question for Frank. Trevor looks much more comfortable in 2 or 3 step drops, getting rid of the ball quickly. Is that part of Liam Cohen's offensive strategy?
I do think the footwork is a big part of it. I think, Trevor used to stand in a shotgun with his right foot up. Now they want him with his left foot up. I think the steps you take are a big part of that with Trevor. So I think he's having to adjust to the footwork part of it right now. So yes, I think Liam's coaching, whether it's how far he drops whether it's how quickly he gets the ball out of his hands. You know, Shane, in the shotgun world now, there's not 5 and 7 drops. You're already back there, right? So the drop is a little different. It's coached a little different now. But I think the footwork part is really helped Trevor. Trevor's got to play a little better. Trevor right now has 5 touchdowns and 4 picks. He's made some really good plays, some big plays with his feet, some big plays with his arm, and he's made some bad choices. So he's got to play. He'll tell you that he's got to play a little bit better. But overall, he's played well. He's adapted to what Liam's doing. I think they all can agree that the Liam Trevor thing is working. I can tell you this: last year, when Liam was with Baker Mayfield, it took a while to get going. But after a while, Baker Mayfield played at a great level. He really unlocked some things. And I know I'll say this about Trevor Lawrence: he's as hard a worker as there is in that locker room. He's becoming a great leader. He's a real captain. He's defending his guys when they're being attacked a little bit. So Trevor's progressing for sure.
Is Liam Cohen's system considered West Coast offense? Because isn't he under Sean McVay and that whole tree?
I think, you know, Shane, you know this. That's how it starts. I think the principles are the same thing that Sean McVay runs and Shanahan runs and Kevin O'Connell runs in Minnesota, and there's a lot of those guys are all around the league. But you always tweak it your way.
Right.
The one thing those guys do, it's not the old Bill Walsh West Coast offense. It's different than that.
Yeah.
One thing those guys all do, Shane, they run the ball, man. They believe you got to run the football. That is a big, big deal with those guys. Run the freaking football. And I think Liam pretty much told us, if we're going to be as good as we want to be, we got to run the ball. You got to look up at the end of all this, and we were a team that ran the football. And so I think they're doing that. But yeah, it's certainly a representative of the same offense that McVay runs and that Shanahan runs and that Kevin O'Connell runs, and they all came from kind of the same. They're all under that umbrella.
Yeah. Who through 4 games, who has surprised you the most on the Jaguars roster?
The defensive guys. Jordan Lewis, the free agent signee from Dallas, already has 2 interceptions. Devin Lloyd, the linebacker. Devin Lloyd's a guy, by the way, that also, he was a first-round draft pick. People thought they were going to cut him or trade him. They thought Ventrell Miller, the former Gator, was going to beat him out. And Ventrell's a pretty good player. But Devin beat him out and held off the job. He's got 2 picks. Jordan Lewis has 2 picks. Jordan Lewis leads the league in passes defended with 6. He's tied for the lead with Devin with 2 interceptions. Those 2 guys have been very good. The defense has been good. Again, Shane, it's different. You know, an NFL team that plays all that zone and sits back, that's unusual in today's. Now listen, there's some third situations where they send the house and play man, but for the most part, it's a different defense. It's a go get the ball defense. So I think probably what surprised me the most is how they've gone and gotten the ball on defense, how they've covered on defense. Travis Hunter's he's playing both ways, man. He's playing a lot of defense too. They've been good defensively. I didn't expect them to take this big of a step defensively.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Travis Hunter playing both ways. What kind of player is he? I mean, you see him, the clips during training camp, dancing and during practice or whatever, but he's obviously made a big catch I saw down the middle the other day. But just your thoughts on how he's performed so far.
Let me tell you about him, okay? You would love him. He is a great kid. He is not. I thought when he got here, I saw the flashy suit at the draft. Remember that he had the flashy suit on? He won the Heisman Trophy, and he came from Prime with Shador and all those guys in Colorado. I thought he'd be this cocky kid, and I didn't know how serious he would take it. I didn't know him. He's a great kid. Yeah, he is. He's the first guy there, last guy to leave. He can't get in enough work. He's understated. He is a good dude, man. He's a guy you would love having on your team. I can tell you. I don't know how those other Colorado guys were. I don't know any of them, but he is a good dude. He's got to figure, because he's playing both ways and legitimately playing both ways, there's a lot to learn, Shane.
Yeah.
Now he's playing the slot. I think in time he'll be a receiver that can play all 3 spots. But right now he's just playing the slot for them. So he's got to learn that. On defense, he's not in base. Tyson Campbell and Jordan Lewis are the corners in base, but they bring him in nickel. They move Jordan inside, and he plays outside corner and nickel. So, but he's pretty good. What they've got to do is they haven't figured out yet how much to play him where. He starts on both sides of the ball. I would play him more on offense. Number one, I think the defense has a lot of dudes right now. I'd play him on offense. I think you can affect the game more on offense. I think a good receiver, a big game's 10, 11 catches. Well, a defensive back, a good play is 1 pass defense and maybe a pick, right? So I'd play more on offense. I think they're trying to work through that. But he's a good dude, man. He's a fun guy to be around. He is he loves ball, man. He loves ball. So Fun guy to be around. He's going to be a really good player in the league.
That's awesome. All right, before we switch to the Gators, big game Monday night. Jags are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. That place could be wild Monday night, huh?
That could be a crazy game here. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is coming, and the Chiefs are coming. The Chiefs just had a big win, and the Jags have some confidence now. There's other times the Chiefs or the Patriots with Brady would come to town, and you really knew the Jags weren't going to win the game, right? I mean, you kind of knew it was a fun day. Everybody had fun at their tailgate, and Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are here. But when the game starts, the Jags aren't going to win the game. Well, that's not how they feel now. Now we'll see. The Chiefs are still probably the best franchise in football, Shane. But people are excited, man. People are buzzing about that game already. I think we're all getting excited about it. And I think the Jags believe they're going to hang around with the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 3-1. I mean, the Jags, you get to 3-1 in this league, it's hard to do. And you know that. It's hard to get to 3-1. I know it's only 4 games in, but it's hard to be 4-1. And again, they blew the Cincinnati game. They should have won that one. Burrow went out of the game. They dropped a couple passes. They had a pass interference called on them. They should be 4-0. So it's going to be a crazy night in Jacksonville. I tell people to get over here. Gainesville folks can get over here and watch that game. You ought to get over here. It's going to be a fun night. It really is.
Yeah. Text here on the Titan Amar text line from Daniel. He says, Frank, do you think the Gators will have a new football coach next year?
Yes, I do. I think the Gators will have a new football coach next year. I can't imagine. I think Scott Strickland gave Billy Napier his mulligan last year, and to Napier's credit, he used that mulligan well. He hit it down the middle. They won all the games after that and developed a little bit of confidence. We all had confidence they would be better. I think they've been a disaster. I think offensively they've been a disaster. They had 1 first down in the first half of a game. If the University of Florida plays a football game and has 1 first down in the first half, I might have fired the coach at halftime. And by all accounts, I don't know Billy Napier, Shane. I know you do. I've had Billy on the show a number of times. He seems like a nice guy. I don't doubt for a minute that he's done a good job building culture. I don't doubt for a minute that he's got good players in there. He's cleaned up the locker room. By all accounts, he's a wonderful person. He clearly is not a very good offensive coach. That's clear. DJ Lagway right now is not a very good offensive player. Whether DJ's not a good player, whether that's because he's not being coached very well. I can't imagine. I think Texas is going to beat him this week. I think A&M is going to beat him. I can't imagine, in my opinion, that Billy Napier can keep that job.
Yeah. I was going to ask you your thoughts. Texas coming to the Swamp. I mean, this game in the summertime, everybody had it circled on their calendar, right? Everybody thought DJ versus Arch Manning. I think it's a huge game for Texas because they're still in the hunt to make the playoffs. This is their first SEC game. But are you coming to the game?
I'm not. I thought about it. I thought that's actually my birthday. And so I'm probably going to try and play 18 that day, Shane. The number I'm looking for is 18. That's how many I'm going to try and get in that day. And then I'm probably going to get back here and watch the game. I thought about coming. And in fairness and all full disclosure, if the season had gone a little different, I probably would have come. You with me? You know?
With you.
But I'm probably going to play a little golf in the morning and watch this. But I'm not going to come. But listen. We all thought game day would be there. We all thought. To me, the biggest surprise of the football season, of all 130 teams that play FBS football, the biggest surprise of the football season to me is the disaster that has become the Florida offense. Whether that's play calling, whether that's rust because DJ wasn't out there, I thought Florida would be pretty good. I still think they have some dudes on defense. They're not great on defense, but I think they're okay on defense. They played without Caleb Banks. They're playing without Makai Burrow last week. They're playing without some good players, and I still think they're holding their own. I think that Miami game. Miami's pretty good. That game was 13-7 late in the half, or midway through the second half, as you know. So I think the disaster that has been the Florida offense is the biggest surprise to me in college football. That's why I think they're going to have trouble winning many of these games down the stretch.
I agree. All right, before we get you out of here, Mark on Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. Frank, who's your first choice and your plan B for head coach?
I think it's time for Kiffin, okay? And let me explain that. I covered the Spurrier story. Shane, you got to Florida in the late 80s. I was covering that story all through the 80s as a sports writer before the broadcast thing happened. And everyone knew at some point Steve Spurrier was going to be the Florida coach. But they had doubts about him. In the mid-'80s, they talked about it. Well, he hadn't been a head coach. Well, then he was head coach of the Bandits for a few years. Well, now he's been a head coach. Well, yeah, but he hadn't been a head coach in college. So then he went to Duke. Well, yeah, but does he play golf too much? And does he take it serious? Will he be good on defense? And Steve had to show them what a great head coach he was. Well, by the time he'd been at Duke those years, won the ACC at Duke, then it was time. It had to all line up with the Florida job was going to come open, and it was now. No matter how much talk there had been about Spurrier coming there, Shane, it wasn't going to happen until it was time, right? Well, I think this is the same way with Kiffin. Not that Kiffin played there like Spurrier did, but it had to be. We've heard Lane Kiffin to Florida forever, but it wasn't time yet. He had to be a head coach. He had to mature a little bit. He had to mature in his personal life a little bit, which I think he did. He talks about not drinking anymore publicly and kind of growing up a little. So I think it had to be time. Well, now I think it's time. The Florida job is going to come open. I think most people would tell you that. It's towel time for Lane Kiffin. I think he's got that edge. I think that Spurrier has. Someone told me the other day, someone said, well, he tweets too much and he's too snarky on Twitter. Shane, can you imagine if they'd had social media when the ball coach was coaching? You kidding me?
Here's the thing is coach would have to have an assistant to tweet the stuff for him because he still has a flip phone.
Yeah, but he would have
He'd
that
be great.
tweeting, okay? I can promise you that. Can you imagine the tweets that would have been sent as Phil Fulmer back in the day?
Oh.
So the point is, I think it's time. I think it's time for Lane Kiffin. I don't know if Scott Strickland likes him. I don't know if that's who he would pick. I really like Scott. Scott's got beat up a lot here, but I'm a Scott fan. I think he's a good dude. I think he's a good AD. But I think it's time for Kiffin. If it's not Kiffin, I don't know. I think it's got to be a guy with swag, a guy with a little bit of edge. I don't know. Maybe it's Drinkwitz. Maybe I don't sense. Maybe it's Kenny Dillingham. I don't sense it's Jed Fish for that reason. But for me, so to your question, I think it's time for Lane Kiffin to be certainly to be the Florida football coach or to be offered the job. I don't think he turns it down. I do know he loves Oxford and his family's there now. But I think Lane Kiffin would be choice number one for me. If it's not him, I need a guy with edge, Shane. I think whether it's Dillingham, whether it's Drinkwitz, someone that's not afraid to say the wrong thing at a press conference that gives his team. I'm watching it here in Jacksonville with Liam Cohen. He's got a little edge to him now, and I think you need that. So that's what I kind of hope happens.
Yeah, we'll see. We got to at least offer it. Make him turn it down. That's the first step.
Yeah, that's what I hope happens. So we'll see.
Frank, let everybody know how they can listen to your show over in Jax.
Yeah, 1010 XL, 1010 AM, 92.5 FM. You can certainly, we've got both apps. You can stream it, which is what everybody does these days. So I hope people will listen to it. We're on 4 to 6 every afternoon. This is year 38, by the way, of that show. By the way, Shane. So I'm getting old, bro. I'm getting old. What I want to do is just retire and play golf as much as you do. My goal in life is to play as much golf as
you. Probably play more golf than I do, Frank.
Is that right? You don't play?
I play at least twice a week.
Okay, so I play twice a week from February through July. All right. My goal is to play twice a week now. Like, again, you're my idol. If I can get my life like Shane Matthews' life, then my life will be good.
Well, you have your own show and you are the voice of the Jags, but you can work it around your schedule. That's what I do.
Yeah, I got a pretty good life. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
Shane, thanks for having me on.
Appreciate your time, my man. Have a good call Monday night. That's Frank Frangie, the voice of the Jags. Join us on the Titan No More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Florida Crackers, the brand for original Floridians. Great food and Southern hospitality in the center of the universe. Brooksville, Florida, FloridaCracker.com. Real quick before we get out of here, Barone71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plum, says, were you excited to get a chance to play in that offense? How were you? The air ball, later fun and gun. I guess he's talking about, oh, here it is. QB, what were your thoughts when Spurrier took the Florida job? You were already at UF. Yes, I was here, buried on the depth chart. True story, had no idea who Steve Spurrier was, and I grew up a college football fan. There were no statues, no pictures, nothing of Coach Spurrier in the football facility. I didn't even know he won the Heisman Trophy. Knew nothing about him. But very fortunate that he got the job, because if not, I would have, I'd probably be in Mississippi coaching a high school football team my whole career. So anyway, appreciate everybody chiming in again. Thanks to Frank Frangie and Buddy Martin for joining us. Tomorrow we'll have JC. I can't remember who else we got tomorrow, but have a great